Welcome to the first game of the top 8 of the Worcester Manor League Store Championships held in March 2014, brought to you by Netrunners.co.uk. We have Dave Hoyland on the right playing Andromeda, and Ryan, a Worcester faithful, on the left playing NBN. The world is yours. I don't think either side here took a mulligan. Dave Hoyland, obviously a Cheltenham faithful, contributes to the Netrunners side as well. Is very good. He came into this first game of the top 8 undefeated in Swiss, and deservedly so. He plays very aggressively and very, very well. His Andy deck was kind of a back to basics idea, taking it back sort of before the spin cycle had been released, and really just running what he was running 4 or 5 months ago. And he found that he was getting a lot more success out of it than he was with all the alterations he made effectively. I do know he's running quite a few emergency shutdowns. He's looking to deal with big ice as cheaply and effectively as possible. But other than that, it's fairly straightforward. Andromeda, data suckers, the fixed Anarch breakers, and lots of early game aggression. He also runs a Sneakdoor or two in there as well, I believe, just for those odd occasions where HQ becomes unprofitable. So, okay, he is taking a mulligan there. I do apologise. Looks like he had a hand full of economy, but not much else. So, be interesting to see. Ryan not taking a mulligan. He's got a fair few pieces of ice there, I can see from hand, so he looks relatively happy. And again, with the world as yours, you're never quite sure what to expect. It could be a mid-seasons deck, it could be a deck that relies heavily on Scorched, it could just simply be a very bare bones, very quick, fast advanced deck. You never quite know what to expect, and you certainly have to deal with it with a great deal of caution. Certainly the kind of deck you want to play your Plascretes against, because you never quite know what may lie within. Mid-season's a real threat, certainly. So Ryan will take his mandatory draw. He will put ice in front of both central servers, and will take a credit. So no initial hedge fund or sweeps week. I'm sure Dave was breathing a silent sigh of relief there. Or maybe even not so silent. Who knows? The sound is quiet. So we've got an opening Desperado there, which is what you want. Unfortunately, his sleeves are not non-glare like mine are, so it does mean that it's going to be a little bit difficult to see. That's why I always sit on the right-hand side, ladies and gentlemen, with my non-glare sleeves. He's going to Dirty Laundry Archives, gaining his Desperado credit. Second click, third click. So we've got plenty of economy now. Looks like we've got a Mimic in hand, a Fairy. Looks like he's got his copy of Sneakdoor, as well as an R&D interface. Looks like he's going to play that Fairy. Ooh, maybe not. Oh no, okay, so he's going to have a look at R&D. That's the third click. Always a difficult choice to make as Andy. You want to use those initial cards as best you can. He's going to res the Wall of Static. Does mean that he's going to have to discard a card, so he's going to have to be feeling comfortable with his hand already. Early game aggression as Andy is really difficult to do well, I think. He's going to play the Fairy, and then he's going to discard... is that a spare Desperado, or is that a plus? I think that might be a Plascrete, actually, which is a surprise. He must have another one in hand. He's going to score the breaking news with a shipment from Sansan. Dave's going to install Sneakdoor Beta. First click. Second click, he's going to use it. And I don't know what he's seen, unfortunately. But he will take his Desperado credit. It's going to go again. And he will see a Bastion, putting it back in hand. I think at this point I may have prodded them and said, please make sure you put your cards face up, guys, when you reveal. Just, for the benefit of our audience at home. So it looks like Ryan's there drawn up into another agenda. I got a couple in hand, so he probably was a little bit fortunate there to escape the Sneakdoor aggression. Again, Sneakdoor really paying for itself when you've got a Desperado on the table as well. And now he's got another server that he kind of has to protect in order to stay safe. He's only 1 point agenda up, obviously he's got a long way to go yet, and now he's got another central server that he has to protect. With the Desperado down already, it's not going to be too memory intensive. He can still find room for a Corrode or a Yogg, a Data Sucker potentially. He's got the room. So I think Ryan here, very cautious. You don't want to see a turn 2 Sneakdoor against Andy. So there he is. He's going to ice up archives. Probably sensible there. I think he's got, again, like I say, 2 or 3 agenda points in hand. So he's just going to run HQ and have a look and see if he's going to res that piece of ice. Very sensible again. He's going to soak up his resources on HQ and Eli for 3. Dave will bounce off, and he's going to instead use Sneakdoor and see if he reses the piece of ice there on archives. He won't, so he'll now go through on archives instead, and he'll see the market research and score it. So that's 2 points. And now the question is, does he go again? He will. So he's going to see another card. He's going to see the Bastion again. I think he got unlucky there because I'm pretty sure that's the breaking news in hand. So he could have taken 3 points worth there. And he's discarding a card that I cannot make out. So mandatory draw for Ryan. And a good start and a good opening rig there for Dave. When the time is right, he's going to score out the breaking news from hand there, which seems sensible given that he's got the ice res and R&D and HQ already, and he's very vulnerable to the Sneakdoor, so he doesn't want to keep agendas in hand. So it makes good sense. But this does give Dave a good opportunity here to build. So he's going to play the Data Sucker. He's going to use the Sneakdoor, and even if he doesn't see anything, it doesn't really matter. He sees a Sand which he can't afford to trash. But he will gain a Data Sucker. Oh, he can afford to trash it. I tell a lie. So that's good. He had just enough. He gets a Data Sucker and he gets Desperado credit. Looks like he's drawn up into a daily casts for this second click. So discarding the Sand there, very strong. Even though Ryan's on 0 credits, it's not a card you want to leave in hand for too long there. And it also means that he's got a Count Siphon defense, which you don't really want. So he can now res the other Eli he has there on archives, at which point Dave will probably bounce. But he's soaking up the money before Ryan has a chance to solidify here, which is a real problem. He's got no remote setup, which he's going to need to score out the early Astro or to put a Sand down, one already being trashed. Dave will play his daily casts and can effectively now just sit back a little. He's got the important pieces of the puzzle, i.e. in the shape of the Data Sucker and in the shape of his Desperado. His runs are efficient and they're exactly what he needs. So Ryan is going to set up a remote now, icing it up, looking to potentially play out something to again start solidifying his board position, either a Sand, maybe a Jackson Howard. All of his ice is only 1 deep as well, which is a problem. Dave doesn't have any great emergency shutdown targets here. Emergency shutdown and Eli isn't the best thing in the world. Not when you can click through it anyway, and he can res it again the next turn. It looks like he does have an emergency shutdown in hand. He has an infiltration there, it looks like, in hand as well. So, a good opportunity. He's going to Dirty Laundry HQ, and he's just going to click through. And he'll score a Beal. So that was incredibly good play. Really struck there when he needed to. And again, with the Dirty Laundry, the Desperado, the Data Sucker, gaining extra value out of stealing another 2 points of agendas, taking him to 4. Ryan being forced to click for credits there, which suits Dave fine because he can just take his daily cast money and keep running. So there's going to be no run. He's going to see a private contract, which he'll leave. I'm not going to trash that. So he's got the account siphon defense at the very least, but he can't res it yet. Doesn't quite have the money. Oh, he does, sorry, I tell a lie. But again, Dave here in a strong economic position, a very strong ball position. He doesn't have any breakers out in shape of barriers, obviously, at this stage. And he's going to play a R&D interface, perhaps signalling that he does have the corroder he's looking for. But now suddenly the pressure's not just on to secure his hand, but also to secure R&D. Dave only needs to see 2 more agendas to win. And Ryan's a long way from home on 2 points. And both of those are out from out of hand. Dave's got a special order, first click, and I think we can probably guess what he's going to go and look for. It's not on top, which is the important thing when you use a special order. That's the last thing you want to see. And right on the bottom, it looks like. So the right move, plays his corroder. He's just doing a quick memory tally. He's on 5, so he's fine. So with the Desperado, he's alright. And so again, we know he's got a Mimic in hand. So if he does have to use the Fairy, he can just play the Mimic. At this stage, doesn't make a great deal of difference. He's got 3 barriers rezzed, so he's now got free reign on R&D. He runs, doesn't see anything, but gains his Data Sucker and his Desperado credit nevertheless, and gaining real value out of those runs. Can use his Data Suckers to bring down the Elis, the Wall of Static if he requires it. Use it as a real decent economy card. So he draws up a piece of ice there, plays it, and takes some money off private contracts. Playing very quickly. He knows he has to solidify R&D here, because if he doesn't see the agendas, he's in trouble. And at this stage, this is not what you want to see across the board from you anyway. Dave has everything he needs, if not more. It's a pretty intimidating thing to look across at. You see that many cards, all aimed at getting into your servers effectively and cheaply, and quickly. So Dave will play, he's going to take his daily cast money, and then it looks like he's going to play a Sure Gamble. Indeed, there we go. So even more cash. He's still got 4 cards in hand, or 3 or 4. He's got a Fem there he can use. Well, not really any good targets for it at this stage, although obviously he can use it on that unres piece in R&D. Just draws up into a Yogg, so he's got a full Breaker Suite in hand. Can trash the Sneakdoor now, and just run through an R&D over and over again. As soon as that Yogg goes on the board, there's nothing he can't really get into with those Data Sucker tokens. Draws up into another one. So he's going to play something. I'm not sure what that. It might have been a Dirty Laundry. I don't know. But anyway, Ryan's going to replace his private contracts with another card after clearing it, and so he's got plenty of cash. Certainly enough to take him into Sansan range at this stage. So, you know, Sansan into Beal, very much a potential option here. And if it is, he's probably quite confident that Dave can't get in there, but I'd be surprised. So he is going to trash that Sneakdoor and play a Yogg, I think. Yep, a Yogg. So we've got a Yogg, a Corroder, a Data Sucker on the board. That's all he needs. Still got the Fairy, so he can break through a Sentry once. And if it's anything mean, which it's not, it's another barrier. That Bastion he's had in hand and seen for a while. You know, he could bring it down to strength with the Data Sucker and break for just 1. Or he can just break it for 3, sorry. He's going to run and see another private contracts, so that's fine. He's just going to leave that there. Take his Desperado credit. Now he's going to run through on R&D and see what that last piece of ice there is. Make him res it, make him spend the cash. Now he knows it's not a Sansan, he hasn't really got anything to worry about. Sees the Viper, which is absolutely no threat. It's just going to cost him 1 Data Sucker to get through, and then absolutely nothing with the Yogg on the board. So the Viper not coming to any effect there. He's going to run and see 2 cards. Sees an agenda, and it's another Beal, taking him to 6 points. Gains a credit, gains a Desperado. Gains a credit, gains a Data Sucker. And he's got free reign here on R&D now. He can run again, see another card, or he could draw. He's having a think. He's going to draw, play it safe. There's no rush here, and he knows it. He's got good R&D lock now. That's only going to cost him, you know, 2 credits to break and see 2 cards. And Ryan knows that, and recognising that, places another piece of ice there on R&D. I would suggest that's not going to deter Dave in the slightest from running at this stage. The Data Suckers and the Fixed Breakers just absolutely dominating. And he's not worrying about that at this stage. If it's a mean Sentry, then they are well and good. He can use the Fairy to break it once, and so he's not going to worry about face checking, that's for sure. So he'll run. He'll see another Eli, which is, you know, a fantastic taxing piece of ice. If anyone can remember from the February tournaments, you know, Ryan played a very similar deck, using the 3 Elis, taxing the heck out of the runner. But it just doesn't quite pan out when you've got Data Suckers on the board. Still good, don't get me wrong. Eli is a fantastic piece of ice, but you know, you've only got to look there, see out of the 6 pieces of ice that are res, 5 of them are barriers, and that causes real problems. When all you need is 1 breaker to get through. So he's going to use the Data Sucker tokens and the credits to get through. Obviously, he'll use another data sucker token to get through the Viper, as well as the Yogg to break for free. And then he's going to use a 2 credits to get through the Wall of Statics, sees 2 cards. Sees the Astro Script, wins the game, and that's all, folks. Again, a dominating Andy game there. There's no denying Dave came into this as the favourite. He was the top seed, undefeated all day, and continues to be so at this stage. And so, deservedly won. Ryan was never really given the opportunity to get going, and that early Sneakdoor beta just tore into his hand, forced him to use ice on other centrals that he couldn't really afford to be fair. And was never in a position to be able to solidify his game. And that's why people play Andy, folks. On to game 2 of the top 8. Join us there.